If you're wondering what someone's attachment style is, it might be kind of hard to find out. You might not just be able to ask them, they might not know. And there are clues in how they communicate with you that might help you make an educated guess even on the first date. The avoidant attachment style is going to communicate in a way that keeps them from sharing too much about themselves, from exposing too much depth and vulnerability to you, especially on the first date. It's safer for them to only share information on a bit more superficial level, maybe information you already saw on their dating profile, simple facts about their life, like where they work, where they went to college, what they like to do in their free time. Not the deeper questions about why they like to do those things, or what motivates them to do the work they do, or the impact that certain experiences have had on them. One way they may avoid sharing this kind of stuff with you is to keep the conversation about you, to keep asking questions for you to take up more of the conversational space, which keeps them safe from having to share more of themselves. This may look like genuine engagement and interest, and it might even be, especially if they like you, but it is again protecting them from sharing any of that about themselves. And finally, after that first date, the avoidant is the person who's likely to wait a few days to text you, might even wait for you to reach out to them, or when you say, hey, I had a really nice time, thanks again, they just give you a thumbs up. They are keeping themselves safe because that's what they have learned. That's where the avoidant attachment style comes from. It doesn't make them a bad person. They learned that it's safer to keep themselves at a distance, especially if they really connected with you. That's going to activate avoidant attachment even more. Now, for the anxious attachment, we're going to communicate in ways that look a lot more like oversharing. Almost the opposite of the avoidant. A lot of times there is a genuine desire to show up with some vulnerability, to bring some depth of energy to the interaction. Also, a lot of this energy is coming from wanting to show you more vulnerability and depth than you're asking for to make sure that you still approve of me, that you'll still accept me and still want to keep talking to me. The way you can tell the difference is when this oversharing and this depth and detail isn't entirely related to the topic of conversation or sounds like way more information than necessary to answer the question you just asked. It's almost like we are kind of grasping at your approval and your attention by sharing so much of ourselves, like, please love me. It's safer for an anxious attachment to be seen and known in hopes that they'll be accepted. From an anxious attachment, you'll also hear lots of asking, either directly or indirectly, if something is okay. Asking for your permission to ask a question or to go to the bathroom. If somebody asks you, hey, do you mind if I go to the bathroom? That's a very big clue that they have an anxious attachment style because they don't want to be perceived as doing anything wrong or disrupting the date after the first date or even toward the end of the first date. An anxious attachment is likely to try and plan the next date right away, in the text exchange after the first date or even during the first date. And these things can come up naturally when there's a lot of connection between people. Maybe you share a love of food and there's some food festival happening this coming weekend, so you're like, oh yeah, we should totally go do that. That's a natural plan arising over the course of a conversation and a connection. If it doesn't seem super related or kind of randomly comes up, then you can maybe guess that the anxious attachment is coming out and they're trying to plan another date to make sure you still like them. Maybe you, for example, mention there's a new exhibit at the museum in town and it seems interesting, and their immediate response is, oh, let's go do that. What are you doing Thursday? Now, the secure attachment is less and less common these days, but you may find yourself on a date with someone who is securely attached, and they will communicate in some very clear ways. A securely attached person will be comfortable sharing a certain level of depth and detail about themselves, those things about what actually motivates them to do the work they do, or how an experience impacted them emotionally. They don't mind opening up about that kind of stuff, within reason, of course. And they will show curiosity at that level of depth and detail about you. So there's a mutuality here. Someone who is securely attached does not have an issue with disagreement. They will clearly and directly state that they have a different opinion or differing values or simply different thoughts on something that comes up in conversation. They don't view disagreement as a problem. It's just an interesting conversation. Whereas the avoidant will keep things light and breezy to avoid the depth at which disagreement could happen, and the anxious will just find ways to agree so that there aren't any problems. A securely attached person will say something like, oh, that's really interesting that you view it that way. Could you explain more? And the securely attached person is likely to follow up with you within 24 hours. And when they do, it'll be very clear whether they want to keep connecting with you, planning another date, etc., or if they are just not feeling it. They will say something like, hey, I had a really great time, looking forward to the next one. Or send you some kind of gift related to your conversation to keep the connection going. Or they'll say, hey, I'm not really feeling the connection that I want to, but thank you for a good time. It's very crucial for you to understand that these descriptions of attachment styles aren't intended to be red flags. I'm doing a video soon on how an avoidant attachment style is not a red flag. I'm actually dating an avoidant myself, and we're very happy together. It's not about seeking a certain attachment style or avoiding avoidance, but more about making an informed decision about what you can work with, how those anxious or avoidant behaviors manifest for this person, and if you can work with that. If there is anything else about attachment style and how they communicate that you'd like to know about, if you have any questions about, or anything you think I missed, drop a comment below or go to my website, click the Book Now link, schedule a free call, and we can chat about it.